Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a new info session. I'm Andra from the Romanian diaspora, and we are joined this morning by guests from the Office for National Statistics and other Romanian communities in the UK. And we are here to talk to you about the census, which is taking place tomorrow in most countries of the United Kingdom. We will be live for a maximum of an hour. You can post questions in the event or message us directly. If there's anything we can't answer live, we will come back to you. Over to our guests to introduce themselves.
Hi everybody, I'm Alison Brinkworth. I'm the Census Engagement Manager for South Birmingham, and I work with my colleague in the Birmingham team, Aisha. So I'll be able to tell you about help that's available in Birmingham as well as answer the questions. And I'll pass over to my colleague, Jeannie.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeannie Cohen-Brand, and I'm the Census Engagement Manager for Herefordshire. I work within the West Midlands team, which is with Alison and with our colleague Marius, that I'll pass over to now.
Thank you, Jenny. My name is Marius Missin. Work as a community advisor for Census 2021, and I cover South Nottinghamshire and South Derbyshire, and I work specifically with Roma people. It's quite a vast area to cover, so wish me luck.
Alina?
Hi everyone, my name is Alina. I'm joining from London. I represent a community organization called Romanian Women in the UK. We pretty much are UK-wide and aiming to support the Romanian community.
Thank you very much. Myself, Serena, for the Romanian diaspora. As Alina says, through partnership networks, we cover the UK, Northern Ireland and Wales. Not so much Scotland, but I don't think it's relevant for today anyway. And we're happy to have you here.
Hello, and my name is Adrian Reishu from the Romanian diaspora, and we are, as my colleague said, we are trying to support with informing people about Census 2021 and helping with their questions.
Okay, so how do you want to go about it? Shall we go through the actual step-by-step guides, or do you want to talk us through what needs to happen tomorrow? Big day.
Yeah, I mean, we could start off just explaining about the census and tomorrow, and then move on to questions. The census, you've probably had letters that you've received in the post that look like this, and it says the householder. So some people might think, oh, it hasn't got my name on, so it's not for me, but actually anybody at that address, it's for them. And it's the only sort of survey of its kind that we do of every household every 10 years. And it helps us to know what we need to invest in and provide things for your community, from like healthcare, midwives, doctor surgery, schools. So it's really important for you, your children, your families, and where you live. And it's for anyone who lives in this country for over the last 3 months. So we want you all to be counted and represented. And I guess, Jeannie, do you want to explain about what's happening at the moment with tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. So tomorrow is Census Day, and so you can either go online and complete your census with the unique code that's in the letter that Alison showed you, or you can fill in a paper questionnaire if you would prefer to do that. The questions in the census really fall into a number of different categories, but first of all, just about your household, then about you as an individual, so the sort of work that you do, if you work or not, whether you have, for example, any long-term health concerns, or just any really concerns about your health that would go in there. So when Alison talked about being able to access healthcare, that's how we find out what people might need, so that's really important. There's questions about your education, so what kind of qualifications you have, and again that helps to understand what sort of work you might be able to do. It helps employers to know what the workforce is available to them. And then a whole kind of range of questions about you as an individual. So there's 2 new sets of questions this year for individuals over 16, and those are about your gender identity and your sexual orientation, and they are voluntary questions. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. And I just wanted to say something specifically about ethnicity and how you choose to answer the ethnicity question. So you completely can decide how you want to identify yourself in the ethnicity question, but it's particularly important for the Romanian community because I was part of the census in 2011, and the numbers of the Romanian community then were actually relatively quite low. But we know now that there's probably way over 500,000 Romanian people in the UK. And for you to be able to access the services that you really need, we really need you to be counted. Now, I know that sometimes people are a bit reluctant to put their personal data in online, but just to say to you that the Office for National Statistics is completely impartial. We're separate from government, so nobody gets to see that personal data. As soon as you've completed a household questionnaire, or as soon as you've filled in your paper questionnaire, your personal information is taken out for 100 years. So your ancestors will be able to see it in 100 years and find out where you were and what you were doing, but nobody else will be able to see that information for a whole 100 years. So all the statistics that come out are joined together by households. Nobody knows that it's you personally that's put that in. So sections about you, your household, your personal circumstances, and then you choose how you identify yourself on there. But please, please do choose to identify yourself as Romanian so that we can make sure that all that information about the things that you need is shared and you can get the services that you want. And also, if I can, just some words about the help that's available. So at any point you can go onto the census website, so www.census.gov.uk, and there's lots and lots of help on there in terms of having guidance in different languages. If for any reason you need things by British Sign Language videos or guidance in Braille, it's all there for you. So do visit the website. And there's also a contact centre number that you can call if you want to talk to somebody. And I think Alison's probably got more details than me about the local support centres that people can contact if they need some help.
Yeah, and I'll put up the list, the full list for Birmingham and some numbers for you in a bit. But also, just to say that with ethnicities like Birmingham, so diverse, and not being frightened to put it, because actually in the last census 10 years ago, it found that there were 494 different ethnicities living in Birmingham, which is just amazing, really. And the fact that people felt comfortable to put exactly where they're from, and that means that the council, the government, charities, organisations like DOR know exactly the shape of the society here and what they need to provide, and even supermarkets. Because actually, when I was talking to Serena, it was funny, she was talking about when she first came to England and the supermarket only had cheddar, and actually it was really nice to get continental cheeses. And what happens is supermarkets look at that data because they don't have your personal details, just the big numbers, and they'll say, oh, we've got a lot of European people, a lot of Romanians living in Birmingham, let's have an aisle that has food specifically for them. So that's how it really helps you as well. But I can either show you, I can share my screen with the centres in a moment, but Marius, did you want to show people how easy it is to actually do online? And then I can show them the support available as well.
I can, yes, thank you. I just want to add something else. Obviously, we're speaking about Romanian nationals, but also we need to think about the Roma people as well, different background like Romanian, Polish, Czech, Slovak background. They are more vulnerable when it comes to census 2021 because of the challenges they are facing. And I just want to mention something that on the census 2021 questionnaire, there is a separate box for them So they've been kind of separated from Irish Traveller Gypsy. So I recommend for all those with Roma background to tick the box with Roma and not to be afraid that they are a Roma background. Right, and I'm just trying to share my screen now. Hopefully it will work. Let's see. Are you able to see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so this is just a step-by-step guide when it comes to filling the census 2021. There's a lot of questions. I don't think we're going to have time to cover all of them, but I'll go through the steps as quickly as possible. So Census 21, this is the website that you need to go on and start filling the census. You have to click the green button and the census questionnaire will open. So if you receive the code with the post with the letter, you have to type it in the box that you see on the screen. And after you typed in, just click Access Census, and will take you to this screen when you have to confirm the address for the household. Also, you have to read like a guideline when it comes to coronavirus and Census 2021. All the questions are mostly related to this situation. You have to reach and read the household definition and instructions of the next screen. The next question is asking you if you are living at the address that you've started with. You have to confirm that. You have to put your name down as well. And then just click continue. Now the next question is asking you if you have any family members, relatives, housemates, tenants, and so on living in the same household. And you have to tick all of them that applies to the household. After that, you have to start typing the names of those who live at the household. So you can add, I think you can add as many as you can, but I've done it yesterday with a family of 7 people, so I managed to do 7 people on the same online questionnaire. But correct me if I'm wrong, I think you can add as many as you want. So in this example, you have 2 people, so you have to type their names down and include all the people that are living on the same address, even visitors, if they stay for more than 3 nights, and the 21st of March will catch them at your address, your household. You have to include them as well. If there are no more other people to add, you have to confirm there's no others to add. Go to the next step then. On this screen, you have to confirm the relationships between those who live in the household. So you can see on the left-hand side, you have to say if the people in our example, there are 2 people. So you have to confirm if they are like what the relation is. It's usually husband and wife, but okay. Next, we'll ask you for details about your household accommodation. You have to read all the instructions, all the information, and confirm. You have to say what type of accommodation is. If it's a house, if it's a flat, if it's a caravan. If it is a flat, you have to say what type of building it is. The next step will ask you if all the rooms in your household are behind a door that only this household use. Next step, we have to see how many bedrooms are in the household. What is the main central heating, if it's gas, if it's electric. You have to just pick one of them, or if there are more than one, pick the one who are suitable for the household. Next step, you have to say if it's a rented property, or if you own the property. Details about vehicles that are registered on the property, if there's one or two or three or none. There's another COVID-19 statement which you have to read before you continue. The next step, you have to fill it in the personal details for the information from your name and date of birth. Obviously, the system will tell you exactly how old are you. In some cases, not very good. Obviously, this is your gender identity. If you declare yourself as female or male. The next step, if you are married, never married, you can see there's different options here. You've got the options with never married or never registered, or if you're married, or if you're registered in a civil partnership, or this is interesting, if you are separated but still legally married. And the rest of them is, as you can see them on the screen. On this question, you have to say if you are married with someone of the same sex or opposite sex as well. They're going to ask you about your address for the last 30 days. Sorry, for last year. Going to ask you if you're a student in full-time education, and which is your country of birth. So you got the boxes with England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, and elsewhere. If you are born elsewhere, you have to tick the box elsewhere and just start typing in the name of the country. Next screen is to confirm where you lived 1 year ago. It's usually the same address, but there are situations where people moved in the last 12 months. Confirm your national identity. Here, if you're not British, if not English or well Scottish, you have to tick other, and then you have to start typing your national identity. In this case, Romanian, just type ROM, and a pop-up window will show you the name of the country, or just click.
On that question, Marius, could I just add that, yeah. You know, there's a lot of campaigns nationally by different groups that your national identity and how you feel doesn't have to be, you could put European, or you could put Romanian, or you could put Roma. That box is really like for you to decide. Like there's an identity campaign with the Kashmiri campaign saying put Kashmiri, you don't put Pakistan. So really this is your place where you can put exactly how you feel about your identity.
Yeah, I had people who said they're not Romanian, they're Eastern European. So yeah, it can be, yeah.
Am I right in thinking though that there's additional questions that would allow you to be more granular? So once you've defined, okay, I'm Romanian, but if I'm of Roma origin and I want to show both of those items, how does that work?
Yeah, well, the next screens will show you how to do it, actually. Okay, moving forward. This is the screen you have to confirm your ethnic group. Very important, Sorina, like you mentioned, if you are Roma or Gypsy traveler or Irish traveler, you have to tick white. This year, they put all these ethnic groups under the white category. So if you can see on the screen, you can tick Gypsy or Irish traveler, or you can tick Roma. There's two different ones this year. Or if you are any other white background, you have to tick that one, and next step will provide you the option to type in your ethnic background.
So what about, for example, there are mixed families in Romania where you have the father from a Hungarian ethnic group and the mother is, I don't know, Austrian. But they're both born in Romania and they also identify as Europeans. How do you fit that information in the screen?
You can click the any other white background and type in your background, your ethnic background.
And with that, there's like, this is the ethnicity question, but then the identity question was how you identify, which is up to you to put. So if, say, their parents are from a mixed background, but they feel that they identify with like a certain area or country, they can put that in the identify bit. And with this ethnicity, then yeah, they'd probably put in the any other and the mix and exactly what it is. So so like I'm from a mixed background, so there's mixed or multiple ethnic groups as well there that I tick, and then you can write in exactly what that is.
Yeah, exactly. Let's not forget that these questions are for each individual. So if like you mentioned, you have the father from Austria and the mother from Hungary, each one will have to do it separately, and they will tick their own ethnic background. Okay, moving forward. Confirm your religion. You have to, as you can see, you've got the options of the most common religions. But for example, if you're Christian, we know very well there's different Christian denominations. But you can click any other religion. And if you want to declare yourself as a Catholic, you have to start typing in Christian Catholic, and there's an option you have to, when you can click Christian Catholic. Or if you want to declare yourself Christian Orthodox, you can do the same. Or if you want to declare yourself Pentecostal, you can do the same. So you can, if you don't want to be categorized as a just general Christian, you have to tick any other religion and start typing in the religion you know and you think you belong to. Okay. Next screen is about confirming the main language you speak. Obviously, if you're not English, your box will be other, including British Sign Language. And the next step, you can start typing in the language you speak, Romanian, Polish, or any other languages. There's a question.
Could I ask a question that's coming from the community? They're saying, I'm a student in the UK, however, due to the pandemic and because of online studying, I've remained in Romania. It's going to come up to 12 months soon. I don't have an address in the UK because my rent contract has been cancelled. Do I fill in the form? And if so, how should I do it?
Right. Do you want to answer the question?
Yeah, I could take that one if you like.
Okay,
Because if they were a student that enrolled from September but didn't return, or they were going to be returning for their second year but didn't, then they still fill in the census form. And if they contact their university, they'll be able to sort out a code for them, or they can phone the main census line or on the website as well to request a code. But I suppose they don't have an address, so it's probably best to go through their university for that. And the university should be emailing them. If they were due to start this year but never actually went and sort of cancelled their place, and they don't have to, and this is outside of the UK as well, just because it's exceptional circumstances this year. And the results, if they put that they're actually a student in a certain city, then they can obviously plan for like public services for their student numbers. And I guess the only difficulty will be if they never got an address. So if they'd enrolled but then they didn't actually manage to find a place to live because they never came, but they had enrolled. So it's, if they contact their university, then they'll be able to help them with that. But if not, it would be probably that they'd put the last address they were at. Jeannie, would you agree with that about it's obviously a difficult one with students this year?
Yeah, it is a difficult one with students. So if for me, if it's their first year, they haven't come into the country and they're studying separately and they don't have a UK postcode, then most likely I think their university will tell them not to complete. But if it is their second year and they've been here and they just haven't come back, then they would probably be asked to complete. So I think the safe bit is to ask their university to either send them a code, but they wouldn't be able to complete their code without an address, and they haven't got the address. So I think probably not, to be honest.
Yeah, I would say the same. I mean, obviously you have to fill in the census if you are in the country on the 21st of March. But like you said, with students being away, I think it's difficult to answer the question.
Okay, so an email to the university should essentially confirm. It sounds like she was in the UK, and then because of the pandemic, she left. She hasn't left for more than 12 months, which is one of the information that is in the census form. Therefore, if there is, would the university be able to actually stand in her place and receive the documentation at the university on her behalf?
The universities have all been sent the codes for, like all the halls have got sort of the census forms and codes for every student. So if she did start the year in September, then they would be able to send her a code to do. So if she contacts them and say that she was there, but then she went back to Romania, because I know we've been doing this with the Chinese students, who we have a lot in Birmingham as well, then they will be able to help her. So they should have been like emailing out all the students as well, but if she hasn't heard, then definitely if she gets in touch with the sort of her main contact at the university, they'll be able to help her.
I'm just going to look that up online while you continue to speak, just to see if I can get anything more definitive for you while you're on.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Marius, I'm sorry to interrupt this really useful presentation, but we actually have two more questions from our panelists,
Okay.
Alina and then Adrian, about the slides you've already been through, if that's okay.
Yeah. Go on.
Alina?
We've had a consistent question coming in from the Romanian community where they've been encouraged to declare their religion, like you said, and they would like to declare themselves as you gave an example, Romanian Baptist or Romanian Orthodox. Although they are Christian faiths, they are worried that they will be treated as sects and not Christian at all. They are trying to give a granular view of the community, but they are worried that by ticking other rather than Christian, they will be considered sects. So if you could clarify this, please.
No, definitely not the case. as you can see on the screen, you got the general options, general religions in the world. But if you want to declare yourself as a like Christian Orthodox or Christian Catholic, like I said, you can click any other religion and type in the name of the religion you belong to. But you won't be classified as a sect or other religion, other Christian. If you I don't know how to explain. It's difficult. You still be a Christian, but you will belong to Christian Orthodox or Christian Catholics.
The national denominations.
Yeah. So you won't be classified as different Christian. How should I say it? I don't want to be rude or something.
I believe it was clear.
And also, the statisticians check like all the results, because it takes a year between the census being done and the results coming out. And a lot of people might have put something in other and not ticked a box. And so they do go through everything to make sure everything's aligned, especially when it comes to like occupations, because people might put something really detailed that falls under like another category. So it would probably be like, if it was a form of Christianity, they would probably register it as under Christian, but then also what you put, so that when the full statistics comes out, it shows, okay, this many people were part of sort of Christian denominations, but there was also this many that said they were exactly this. So it wouldn't be treated that that you're a sect.
Yeah. So for example, I'm going to give you an example. In Birmingham, if there's going to be a lot of people declaring themselves Christian Orthodox, yeah, the ONS will know that in this region there is a huge majority of Christian Orthodox living in the area. Was I clear? Yeah. And what was the second question?
The second question was from the community. Several people said they haven't received any envelope. What is the procedure? What is the protocol in this case?
Okay, so usually everybody should have received their code through the post by the 21st of March, but that's in a dream world. Some people, they will probably receive it next week, the next following days. But if you want to do it by the 21st of March, if you want to fill in the census by the 21st of March and you don't have the code, you can go online and request the code through the post or through the text message, and you will receive a brand new code on your phone, and in 2 or 3 minutes, and you can start filling the census.
Okay, thank you.
And they've made it very easy, so that when you go on the census.gov.uk website, the first page that Maria showed that says start census, right underneath it, it says request a new code. So you can just press that button, and that will take you through. Don't have a code, press that will take you through. You put in your postcode, you click the details, and then it asks you, do you want to receive the code by letter or by text? And then if you want it by text, you put in your phone number, you get it instantly, and then you can go on and do the census. So they've made that quite easy.
Okay.
Yeah, clear.
Are there any other questions before I carry on?
Would you like me to just answer the student question now? So apologies, colleagues, I just went online to get it. So it says that they should be counted if they're usual residents. So it's any international students staying for 3 months or more. So if they're not here and they didn't actually take up their residence, and I think that a student said that she didn't take up her contract, then it says that then they're not counted. So I would assume then not, but I would still just check with the university, because I know that we are counting some of the international students that didn't come back this year, but I'm assuming that they would probably have had a contract for student accommodation, which is more than likely why. But it says very, very clearly that any international student is actually staying for 3 months or more, but if they haven't been here then this year, then it seems to be no. Does that help?
I think it's made it more clear a bit.
Yeah.
There is a comment coming into the from the public coming into the comment section that we would like to shed light on, and particularly in view of potential fake news. There's a gentleman who's commenting, "I've done it already, very easy to do, very easy to use and to do," which is great to hear. "I also got the vouchers and spent them already."
Okay.
I didn't. Adrian, did you?
I didn't.
No, I think people are getting a little bit confused because the Office for National Statistics that does the census also does a series of other surveys through the year. So all the COVID figures are actually the ONS as well. And they do these other household ones, not as detailed as this, but different. And one of the surveys they do does give a voucher, but it's not the census. And that's because the people that do that are involved in a different way, and it's a very small thing. So there aren't any vouchers for the census. That's a completely different type of survey that the ONS does in a more detailed way with a set amount of people. So there isn't anything for the census. So you might have filled in a form, but it wouldn't have been this one because there isn't any. Unfortunately, there's no menu vouchers for this.
Would it be worth actually putting the link of the other organizations so that we clearly highlight who they are and what the other questionnaire is?
Yeah, it's the same organization, but it is a different survey, so I can find that out for you.
Even if it's not now and we come back later, that's not a problem.
On the census website, there's a section that explains other surveys that we do, so you'll be able to get that information from there as well.
Thank you. We also have a question from Diana Blaj. Diana, you're welcome to unmute yourself and introduce yourself if you'd like. I believe we missed you out at the beginning. I do apologize.
Hi, I'm Diana Blaj. I'm working with the Roma community in Nottingham. It's a small charity, Idea Roma Association. And I have one quick question. It's about, and now I'm referring strictly to people from Roma community that they are really worried. Of course, they don't understand exactly how the whole process is. But they are really worried about the date. So what they have understood is that if they don't fill the form until the 21st of March, then they are going to be fined. So Marius, could you please explain how the time frame is and how it's working, and for how long can they fill? What's the deadline, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. Yeah, yes, so the 21st of March is the census day where the majority of people should be filling the census by. There's not really like a due date. After speaking to my manager yesterday, from my understanding, there's I think it's the 2nd of May or the 6th of May when the census will end. But the CEM in this meeting will tell us. So there is a fine, but for people who don't fill in the census, but that fine it won't go to them straight away. They'll be receiving different information and letters in the post telling them that you need to fill in the census. It's time to fill in the census. I think it's 2 or 3 letters, if I'm not wrong. They're going to have people knocking on the doors saying you need to fill in the census. You haven't filled in the census. I think 2 times, if I'm not wrong. So my manager was telling me yesterday that there will be like 8 attempts for those who don't fill the census. And after 8 attempts, people will at some point receive the fine, but that's only around 3 or 4% of the population of the UK who will receive the fine if they don't fill the census. Please.
Thank you.
Did you want to expand on that, Jeannie? Or
yeah, I saw your microphone come on, so I did it. So so in the 2011 census, eventually when it came to court, the actual fines that were handed out, there was about 21. So what happens is you have lots of opportunity to complete your census, even if you haven't done it, you know, in what might be described as good time. So the electronic questionnaire stops being available on the website on the 4th of May. So Marius is right, that's when that isn't there. But let's just suppose that you choose not to do it, and then unfortunately you go through all the process of reminders and you still choose not to do it. And then you get to a situation where there is some legal involvement. You would get right to the end of that process and you'd still be given the option to complete the form until, unfortunately, you kind of ended up in court and you went to that process. So the numbers that went through in 2011, you can see that most people, once they understand the benefit of it, really do choose to do it. But unfortunately, the fine is there if you choose not to at the end of the day. But most people choose to do it because they see the benefit. But there's quite a long time to be able to get your form completed. I think the really important thing is that if you choose to do it early, then we can start to, because it is online, we can start to collate all that information, get it out to the people that need it much more quickly. So you know, it is there, but there's lots and lots of opportunity to complete before that happens.
There's another question coming from the public again, saying, if I completed the form already for everybody that lives in our household with a single code, is that okay? I'd like to stress that we are not all coming from the same family. We just live together. So I think, am I right in saying that the answer there is it's okay as long as everybody who was put as part of that form agreed to share their data in that manner? So maybe it's worth talking a little bit about safeguarding vulnerable people and data protection.
Do you want to intervene on? Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, yeah, if you are in shared properties, if you share the kitchen and the bathroom, then the one form is for everybody. And obviously, because there's like everybody who lives in that household still needs to do it, but if one person's filling it in, they may not know how people want to answer on some of these questions. So it is a kind of thing where really they need to sort of sit down with the others for them to actually answer them questions themselves. But people, because some of the voluntary questions, like the new one about gender identity, some people might want to do a separate form and they can request a code and still fill it in if they don't want their answers for the other people in that household to see their answers. But yeah, if they're not related and they're all count as one household, they do need to sort of get those other people involved so that they're filling out their own answers. Would you expand on that at all, Jeannie? Or?
No, completely agree with that. There is a situation where, for example, if somebody can't complete an answer for themselves, so I've been working with some organisations that support young people with disability, then they do work with those young people, but they pick the answer that they feel is most relevant to the individual. But in this example of where you've got different people living under the same roof, sharing a kitchen, then no, definitely you would have an expectation that they would be involved in answering their own questions and to get that individual form if they would prefer. to do it that way. And just a note on that, if the questionnaire has been filled in for the whole household and submitted, but somebody still wants to do their own, they can still request a code, and they can complete an individual form, and the information that was about them on the original form will be overtaken by the new one that they've done, but it won't change anybody else's information, so they can still do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Or... No. Okay. So going back to our online questionnaire, there's the question about if you have a passport or not. You have to tick the box for the one relevant to yourself. Or if you don't have a passport, you just click no. I think my thingy has...
Sorry for jumping in, but I think it's worth mentioning here for people like me with a dual citizenship, you can click United Kingdom and other, and then click all the passports that apply to you.
That's correct. That's my case as well. Yeah. So you can click the boxes relevant to your situation. Now I'm having some issues with my presentation because it's working now. Okay, right. So there's questions about your health in general, or if you have any health conditions in the last expected to last for the next 12 months. Obviously, you have to pick the relevant box for yourself. There's a question about caring of somebody. So do you look after or give any help or support to anyone because they have long physical or mental conditions? If it is the case, you have to pick the box that's relevant.
I just wanted to add on that one as well, because this is all about unpaid care that you're giving. And I think when I was discussing with the group the other day about a lot of Romanian families, you might have elderly relatives or 3 generations that all live together, and you're helping them with care. And we do a lot with like care groups, and actually information like this, like in the 2011 census, they asked about how much unpaid care people were giving people, and they actually redid the Care Act in 2014, and they used this information to see actually there were, I think 10% of people in Birmingham were actually giving unpaid care to somebody else in the household. And the Care Act, when it was done and it shaped that government new regulation, gave more representation to unpaid carers, and it also showed that there were huge amounts of under 16s giving family care. So it's really important that if you are giving care to somebody else in the family, to fill this in and work out how many hours you do, not as your job, because that again can help you get more support and maybe more benefits from the council and things for people giving care.
Yeah, thank you very much for the information. Okay, next one. This is about the sexual orientation for those who are filling the questionnaire. You've got the boxes that you have to pick the one that's relevant, and there's a separate question where they're asking you if you have changed your sex after registering the birth. So there are people who actually change their sex. They are from female to male and the other way around. So just pick the question, then the box that's relevant.
Marius, I'm sorry, we have another question that's just come in, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to clarify, we have a person asking, my passport expires on the 21st of March. What should I put in? And
Okay,
I see that there's been an answer already from Alina saying it's not about the documents you hold, but it's not about the expiration dates, but it's about document.
It's a simple question. The question is saying, do you have a passport? Yes or no. Simple. It doesn't ask you if it's expired or not. It just, you have a passport? Yes. I don't have a passport. No. It's simple. Okay. Qualifications. This is so the next questions are related to your qualification, your studies. There's a question if you have completed any apprenticeships, or if you have any qualification at degree level. You've got examples here as a foundation degree, HND or HNC, or MVQs as well. The next questions are about the level of qualifications you've obtained. So you've got the MVQ level 2, MVQ level 3, MVQ level 1 or none. If you have any A levels, so you got different options when it comes to A levels.
I was just going to add on that, Marius, because I was talking to DOR, and they've just got clarification from the national body about the equivalent of these qualifications compared to Romanian qualifications. And I think they've posted them on the Facebook page, because obviously a lot of these are like standard in the UK, but not in Romania. So I think they have a baccalaureate in Romania and we have A levels, but the DOR does have details of exactly what equals what. And if you can't find it, you can put a comment on the page, and I guess you'll get back to them. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, from my own knowledge, Romanian baccalaureate is similar to A levels in the UK, but I might be wrong.
It's more or less
more,
yeah.
If you have a bachelor degree, then that would be foundation. And if you hold the Școala Profesională or Atestat Profesional, that would be the MVQ.
That's the MVQ,
That's it. So I'll add the information now on the actual event. It's worth mentioning that the confirmation comes from a joint effort between our organization and the Romanian Women in the UK and the Diaspora Initiative. So it was a joint request to the Certification and Qualification Agency in the UK.
Yeah, and it's been backed up by the ONS already.
Yeah. Okay. Moving forward. This is GCSE qualification. From my own knowledge, GCSE is similar to 10 clase, if I'm not wrong. Sorina, Andra.
Yeah, generations slightly older than Sorina and myself. There used to be baccalaureat în două trepte.
Yeah, that's right.
So GCSE would have been baccalaureat treapta întâi, stage 1 of A levels. And what we completed is the full baccalaureate and the old treapta a doua.
Yeah.
But there are quite a lot of younger people in Romania who would not have had GCSEs because it is not a compulsory step. In Romania, if I'm not wrong, you can't complete your compulsory education before 18.
Yeah, that's correct. So the education in Romania is compulsory until you are 18. And when you reach 18, you finish high school, college, you'll get your international baccalaureate if you pass. But there's no GCSE. Okay. Next question is about if you served in the armed forces. This is a tricky questions. For example, if we have Romanian nationals or Polish nationals who have served in the army in their own country, are they allowed to put yes?
I think this one is just about the UK armed forces. So if they've served in, it would only be if they'd served in the UK ones, not in Romania.
Okay, good. Next step. So this is the questions about your employment status. If you are working as an employee or self-employed, or if you are temporarily away from work. or you're on maternity or paternity leave. Questions about your main job. If you are an employee, you have to put the name of the organization you work for. Some people, they are really not keen to provide the information, but from my understanding, it's optional. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to, but it's good for the statistics to have the name of the company. Then the next question is about your job role. What exactly are you doing in your job? And just to briefly describe what you do in your main job. Or there's a question if you're supervising, like a team leader or supervisor in your job you're doing. You just click yes or no.
I was just going to add on these questions, I think it won't let you carry on until you've filled in an answer, unless it says voluntary at the top. But also, if you're on furlough, like there are notes around it to help you, but if you are on furlough, you fill in everything as though the way you would before COVID and the way you were continuing with things. So when it gets to transport questions about how you commuted, if you're not on furlough, but your job has changed because of COVID, so you're now working from home and that kind of thing, then you do fill it in as things are now. So it's only if it's furlough that it would be the same as before.
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you for that. So the next question is about how many hours are you usually working. You just have to tick the box that is relevant for yourself. There's a question about how you travel to work. It can be by public transport, it can be by taxi, it can be by driving a car, or in many cases I had yesterday, for example, there were passengers in a car, so like a shared car or something. Okay. Next question is about where do you mainly work? It's a workplace. Do you have to report to a depot? Or are you working from home? Or you don't have a fixed place? You just tick the box that's relevant. And then next question is about the others, people living in the household. When you filled in all the information for each person living in the household, you had just submit the census, and they're going to ask you for email address just to send the confirmation to, and that's it. It's simple. I think I was clear. If there are any other questions, I'm here to answer. And
so if I may, I'd just like to come in with a really brief summary. We're looking at about 40 questions per person. Is that correct, Marius? I was counting your slides.
Yes, it's around 40 questions. Depends on each individual situation. It's around 40 questions per slide per person, and it takes around 10 minutes, roughly.
Yeah. So it is a little bit of time investment. If I'm correct, again, Marius, I seem to remember you can pause and come back to the submission if you need to go and look for a particular piece of information. Or do you have to complete it all in one? You can pause and come back. That's
absolutely correct. You can fill in parts if you want. And if you don't have the information, for example, for your employment, for something else, you just kind of log out and go back with your code and carry on from where we left.
And one last observation, only because I've done it myself. Although you do give a copy of your email address, you will only receive a confirmation that your census submission has been received. You do not receive a copy of your submission.
No, there's no copy. No, because the submission, the copy, the questionnaire, it's GDPR, so you can't receive a copy of it.
Thank you. And I have a question, again, because this is something I had to do for a family member. What if you don't have internet access, or if you're not comfortable completing the form online? What are your options? If you could talk us through that, please.
Yes, so you've got a few options when you don't want to fill it online, or you can't fill it online. You've got, if you haven't received the questionnaire on paper through the post, you can request one, and the ONS will send you a paper questionnaire. The other option is there's a support line, phone line, for those who want to fill in the questionnaire, but the support line will offer you support to fill in the questionnaire on paper or online. So they won't do it for you. They will just support you and guide you through the questions. This is worth mentioning that this support is available in 49 languages, if I'm not wrong. So they will, if you don't speak English, they will offer you an interpreter through the phone. It will be like a three-way thing, and they will help you to fill in the questions, the census. And there's a third option, which I don't really like to recommend it, to be honest. It's the support centers around the country. There are different locations where different organizations have partnership with ONS, and they can offer support in filling the census online or the paper. But this, the support centers addresses are on the website. If you go on the Census 21 website, you can find the addresses there. But the only downside is that due to lockdown, they're not open yet. So this is the three options.
UK Barnet is running a support center in Romanian, and they've been very instrumental in getting people to fill in their forms, particularly the less digitally able. At least for London, we worked quite well with Community Barnet in helping this generation.
Is it like ONS support center?
Absolutely. Two there who can help for the Romanian population.
From our training, or weekly training, from our understanding, the support centers are not supposed to be open. But
I think what's happened is they've opened recently because the COVID restrictions they've been allowed to. So actually, the screen I'm sharing at the moment, that's the main phone numbers. But in Birmingham, there's 15 support centres, and some of them are open and some are doing appointments by phone and can help you by phone. So that's sort of all of the 15 there. But what I wanted to show everyone as well was that if you go onto the census website, which I'll just show you here, how you can find your local. So you go onto census.gov.uk, hopefully you can see this. That's where you'd put if you don't have a code. This is like if you you can request a new code, you can request a paper copy, but there's also here help, and there's find a census support centre, and when you press that, you press this big button here and you put in your postcode. So say I'll put just any old address in like that. So that would show you, okay, that is your local support centre and that's the phone number to ring. And then it's also got their opening times. So if you go on the website, that one's closed today because it's the weekend. In fact, that one's only open on Mondays, but for a lot of them, some are open Saturdays and some are open different days. So so that's the best way of finding out about your local centre.
Thank you. Alina, you added a useful clarification in the chat, so I'm just going to read it out for everyone. Some of these centres may not be open for face-to-face, but the phone lines are open. So please don't travel there without checking first, but please do call the lines during the stated opening times. Adrian, you had a question.
Yeah, my question is, how do we communicate the feedback from our communities when they completed the census? And if there are any specific hashtags for good stories, for good news stories?
Ginny, you want to answer this?
There you go. So in terms of feedback, do you mean feedback from the community to us, or feedback from the census in terms of what the Romanian community have completed?
I think it's if I may, it's a habit that we have. So for example, during the parliamentary elections last year, when we posted our votes, everybody took pictures of, this is my envelope, here's my vote.
Right, okay.
And
Yeah,
it's a good factor, and it's just engaging and saying, I've done it, you can do it too, type of thing. So it's creating that momentum in the social media. So
yeah,
I don't
that's
think we have any
fabulous.
particular
We
hashtag.
do, yes. So I can see Alison getting hers ready. So I won't give you the Herefordshire one because probably wouldn't be that relevant for you guys. But Alison's, we've all got a Twitter account. But can I just also just say that if you go to the census website, there's a link for the press office, and they do also like getting things. So if you don't want to send them directly through us, you can send them directly to ONS. If you want to, that would be great. But I'm going to let Alison give you her Twitter account now.
Well, I was just going to say, generally on Twitter, I did notice there's a couple of things this weekend. So there's some hashtags, and there's like I'll just get the exact words. It's hashtag census done. So when you've done yours, if you want to do a picture, you can put hashtag census done, and it has a little tick that comes next to it. Or there's hashtag census 2021, and there's also a little Instagram image that you can like, it's a sparkly purple census sticker that if you're in Instagram, in the Instagram stories, it'll put it on there as well. And that's hashtag census done as well. So if you have a play around on Instagram, you should be able to find that. And I don't know if you saw, loads of buildings are lighting up purple for census this weekend. So across the Midlands, we've got, I think it's Dudley Town Hall, we got Birmingham Library, got Old Joe Tower in Edgbaston, Aston Villa, I think in down your way, Jeannie, and yours, Marius, you've probably got some iconic ones too. And so if you're taking pictures of those buildings in purple as well, there's like a hashtag about, I think it's called Light Up. I'll just check. So I know I did a little picture with one of them the other day. Yeah, hashtag census light up, and then you know, we'll share them as well. So that's one way to get involved online.
Sounds really good. It's always nice to be part of a good story. I think this is it really in terms of both questions and presentations. So from our side at the Dora Romanian Diaspora, thank you very much for your participation and for all the wealth of information that you shared. And for those of you out there who haven't completed their census, like myself, please get it done, and let's share the good news stories.
Great. Thank you so much for having us. It's been a real privilege to talk to you today.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Alison. Thanks, Jenny.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.